Today I'm going to talk about the AirPods Pro in 2023. Let's get into it. So I'm going to be talking about the AirPods first generation. These things came out in 2019 and honestly, I've had them since 2020 and I've absolutely loved them. Now I've had some slight issues with them, but we will get into that. I'm going to go through the good and the bad and, basically tell you if you should consider buying these secondhand for a little bit cheaper. Make sure you give them a good clean. And yeah, let's get into it. If you're watching this, you definitely are considering going for the secondhand market or refurbished. So I would say that if you are doing this, just make sure that if you're getting them, you'll make sure they're clean. There is a lot of people out there that do tend to sell fake AirPods, and it's very, very difficult to tell which ones are real and which ones are fake now. So I definitely say just go through Apple's website, check they're real, make sure that there's not anything dodgy like weird text or some AirPods being mismatched. Just definitely make sure that you are getting a genuine pair. But without a shadow of a doubt, these things hold up so well. These are the longest Apple product I have owned. Now, I've only as recently as 3 weeks ago had to put these in for repair because the charging case to stop charging the AirPods and one of the AirPods basically wasn't holding a charge. So it really just, they were on their last legs. But I had already had them for 2.5 years by this point, taking them out in the rain. They've fallen out of my ear at high speed. I have an e-board, so, they're basically exposed to 30 miles an hour plus. They flew out, bounced on the floor. They are the most durable Apple product I have ever owned, and honestly the one that held the test of time the most. Now, one thing you're definitely going to want is, if you're getting an AirPods Pro, you're definitely getting them for different reasons. You want noise cancelling, you want transparency mode, and you want that audio quality. The bass on these things is so good. You honestly will not find anything like this. Like, you will find stuff like this, but not in the same, the audio sounds crisp. The audio sounds crisp. The bass is super low, like you feel them in your skull, and they fit so nicely in your ear. The sizes that they've got, large, medium, and small, honestly fit most people very well, and they will fit the most generic ear sizes. For me, I have to have large because even though I've got small ears, for some reason, the smaller ones and the medium ones just don't fit as well. Now you may be asking, the AirPods Pro Generation 2 are out and, there's a USB-C version. For me personally, I absolutely love USB-C, and it has been very difficult for me to kind of go, look, do I get the new ones with the USB-C case? But I got these repaired and they just hold up so well. My friends got AirPods Pro 2 and I've tried them, and I honestly just don't notice any difference. Other than the case having the speakers on the bottom and, having the Apple Watch charging, there isn't really much differences, and it's all in the case for me. Personally, I've noticed the most useful features between the two have definitely got to be the Find My features, where you can ping it and you can use your phone to find them precisely, and has to be that adaptive noise control. So what that is basically is that if you start talking to someone, the volume will lower and it will go into transparency mode if you're in noise cancelling, and it's a really nice feature, and I honestly am so jealous that I don't have it. But for me, I just think financially, it doesn't make enough sense for someone that's on the AirPods Pro to go to the Generation 2. Unless you really want USB-C that badly or constantly losing your AirPods, I definitely have to say, yeah, these will hold up absolutely fine for most people. Honestly, it's such a difference to what I thought I'd be saying after these amount of years, because a lot of people give Apple a bad reputation for, products not holding up well, but these are one of the best products that have held up so well. And it's not a surprise that the batteries go on these things very easily. I mean, they are tiny, they're constantly on charge, they're constantly just getting bashed about all the time. So it's really not a surprise that these things do break a lot quicker than most things in terms of battery. But I honestly have to say that, when you're listening to these, you definitely notice that the difference between Android competitors to Apple. Now, what I mean by that is I had Samsung Buds Pro and they fell out my ears. The bass isn't as good. Just the software isn't as nice either. Like, it was fully integrated with Android and it just doesn't have the same thing where you get Siri speaking in your ear and she tells you all your notifications that are coming through. It's honestly a really nice feature, and it doesn't do it as well on Android. That's the one thing that you do miss if you go over to Android. You don't get the same notifications come through. Now, I have used these with both Apple and Android, and I definitely have to say on Android there is a couple little quirks that I would have to mention. First things first is I paid £3 for an app that basically lets these things go to full volume, because I found that what happened was you couldn't go as high volume as you can on an iPhone, and I was like, well, that's just annoying. So I installed an app, and now these things could go as high as they can on my iPhone. Now, one other thing is that on Android it's sometimes just half the features won't work. Like you'll take your, AirPod out your ear and it just won't stop the music playing, but that is expected. These aren't designed to necessarily be for Android. They can go on Android, but it's not recommended. Now, if you are trying to save some money, honestly, if you can find a good deal and they aren't fake and they are genuine, it's honestly the best deal that I can think of. Like, make sure that, everything's clean, because I just think with ears, you have to make sure everything is so clean. But you get a good bass, you get good audio levels, and you definitely overall get that, next generation look. If you've got the Stalk AirPods, you get the nice look, you get the new features where you can have transparency and noise cancelling. And I definitely find that when I'm listening to these, it feels like I've got more expensive headphones in than I do. I've had these in on a motorbike, I've had these things on an e-board, car, everything. The noise cancelling works so well. The transparency mode is crisp. You honestly can't even tell that in your ears, and half the time it scares me because I'll just be walking around and I'll just remember that I've got my AirPods in. And it's honestly such a good thing that these things work so flawlessly. They integrate between my watch, my phone, my Mac. Honestly, they all integrate so well. And when I had an Android phone, they'd instantly swap, they'd instantly connect. And it's honestly just such a nice little thing. Like, you don't notice it, but oh, something's playing on my Mac. Oh, the AirPods automatically switch. It's just a nice little feature, and you don't get this on every single device. And I honestly do appreciate these little things. And that's what makes these made by Apple, is that they have the little features that other Android competitors don't, and that we'll never be able to compete with. And, for me, I like those little features. It's the little things for me that count. Having the notifications in your ear that just sound so much nicer than any Android competitor. Having the noise cancelling that's better than any Android competitor, and transparency mode. It's honestly really, really nice. Now, one thing I'd have to say is Apple always said that these things aren't meant to go in the rain and whatever, and they're sweat proof. But I've had these out in torrential rain and they have been absolutely fine. These things are just absolute units. Like, there is so much stuff I've done to these. I mean, at one point I had a burn mark up the side of my AirPod where I'm assuming it got too hot, and they just still keep going and going. And now, obviously, after 2 years, I had to get them repaired. The battery's basically disintegrated. But when you think about how tiny that battery is, it's pretty impressive. Like, you've got to, take into consideration that the battery health is going to drain quicker on these. So make sure you do have a warranty of some sort, that you can get these repaired if you need to. Without a doubt, if you're thinking of getting these, I don't see any reason that you would necessarily need to get AirPods 2, unless you are someone that loses your AirPods a lot, or you want slightly better transparency mode, or you want the flip in between noise cancelling and transparency or USB-C. Go for them. But if you want a quick bargain where you can get, good sounding headphones for around $150, like, I don't see no reason why not. Go for these. These are the cheapest option. Make sure you're getting them as clean and they have, they're genuine. But yeah, definitely go for these over the AirPods 2. They're such a good deal. And I don't see why anyone, if you've got the AirPods Pro already, to upgrade to the AirPods 2, unless they're literally falling apart and you have no warranty. Go for the AirPods 2. At that point, if your AirPods are that broken, definitely just go and get a new pair. But yeah, if you're searching for an older pair, AirPods Pro first generation are one of the best AirPods that I could recommend. Good bass response, good transparency, good noise cancelling. So yeah, go right ahead and buy these. It's been Harry. I'm out. Peace.